Pinocchio is a 2022 American musical fantasy comedy film directed by Robert Zemeckis, a screenplay by Zemeckis and Chris Weitz. The film, produced by Walt Disney Pictures, is a live-action remake of Walt Disney's 1940 animated film of the same name, which itself is based on the 1883 Italian book The Adventures of Pinocchio by Carlo Collodi. The film stars Tom Hanks, Cynthia Erivo, Giuseppe Battiston, and Luke Evans, with Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Keegan-Michael Key in voice roles. Development for a live-action film adaptation of Pinocchio was officially started in April 2015. Initially, Sam Mendes and Paul King were originally considered for directing the film, but later Robert Zemeckis was confirmed as the director in January 2020. By November 2018, it was reported that Hanks was in early talks to play Geppetto in the film. He passed on the project after King's departure, but later rejoined it in August 2020. The main cast was announced in January and March 2021. Principal photography began in March 2021, before finishing the following month. Pinocchio was released on September 8, 2022 on Disney Plus streaming service and received mixed to negative reviews. Critics feel it lacked the charm of the original film and was unnecessary, while criticizing its writing, though some praised the visuals and performances of the cast. The cast includes Tom Hanks as Geppetto, a kind but lonely Italian woodcarver and toymaker who builds and raises Pinocchio as if he was his real son. Cynthia Erivo as the Blue Fairy, a fairy who brings Pinocchio to life and promises to turn him into a real boy if he proves himself brave, truthful, and selfless. Giuseppe Battiston is Stromboli, an abusive, greedy Italian puppeteer who intends to force Pinocchio to perform on stage in order to make money. Cayenne Lambaya as Fabiana, a former ballerina dancer and Sabina's puppeteer who works for Stromboli as a result of a leg injury that ended her dancing career. Luke Evans as the coachman, a charismatic and nefarious owner of Pleasure Island. The voice cast includes Benjamin Evan Ainsworth as Pinocchio, a wooden puppet carved by Geppetto, brought to life by the Blue Fairy. Geppetto created him out of grief for the death of his young son, who had died long before the film's events. Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Jiminy Cricket, a cheerful, intelligent, wisecracking, anthropomorphic cricket who acts as Pinocchio's conscience. Lorraine Branco as Sophia, a friendly seagull who befriends Jiminy. Keegan-Michael Key as Honest John, a deceptive, anthropomorphic red fox who convinces Pinocchio to join Stromboli's puppet theatre. He's always accompanied by his silent cat friend, Gideon. On October 29, 2019, it was reported that Disney was considering releasing this film on streaming service Disney Plus due to the box office failure of its 2019 remake of Dumbo. Later, though, it was reported that a theatrical release seemed more likely after the hiring of Robert Zemeckis as director. On December 9, 2020, the film was officially announced to be moving back to Disney Plus instead of the theatrical release in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, I went into this film exactly expecting what I got, which was a light, easy, family-friendly, fantastical film that would try and capture the essence of the original 1940 classic, but never quite does. In fact, all of Disney's recent live-action remakes have never really caught the magic on the originality of the fantastic animated films that they made back in the day. Now, growing up with all of these films, I absolutely adore them to this day, and they bring back so many happy memories for me. And none of these live-action remakes have caught the enchantment of the original classics that will stand the test of time. In saying that, though, this is a light, easy film to watch. It's entertaining, and it really doesn't offend in any way. I did, however, find that the film sort of rushed towards the end. It had a nice build-up at the start. For me, they just almost skipped over some scenes, and the plot just sort of fell short, almost if they were skipping big parts of the story, like how did Pinocchio go from here to there, without any explanation. I really found myself questioning the film's actual pacing and editing. It's quite ironic to say this, but it almost seems like they ran out of budget, or ran out of patience. Look, frankly, you've got to look at these films for what they are. It really is Disney cashing in on these famous old films and the nostalgia, and also trying to bring it to a new audience. Look, a lot of these live-action remakes have made a lot of money, but none of them, for me, though, have really caught the magic and the beauty of those original films. There is just something lacking, and you almost feel it's disingenuous the way they've been made. And in saying that a lot of the films have been financially successful, it does fascinate me that Disney decided to release this film on Disney Plus due to the lack of success from Dumbo previously. That's quite interesting for me, because that really means they didn't want to take the risk with this film, or didn't feel it would really cut it at the box office. All the cast play their roles very well, and once again it's a solid performance from Tom Hanks here, now playing Geppetto, but not overdoing the Italian accent per se, just playing a nice sort of down-to-earth, fatherly figure type that really you engage with nicely as one of the only human actors in the whole show. The film is charming and likeable, and there is some splendid CGI. And it is made with good intentions, but emotionally it just sort of falls flat, as it just sort of goes nowhere. I did particularly enjoy the voice acting talent here. I mean, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is totally unrecognizable in his voice role as Jiminy Cricket. If they hadn't told me it was him playing it, I would never have believed it. I thoroughly enjoyed Keegan-Michael Key's Honest John here, and frankly I would have loved more of him. His voice acting is just superb here, as he really completely overdoes it, but it's perfect for the role. As is Benjamin Evan Ainsworth as Pinocchio. He captures the essence of the Pinocchio character with his voice, I think, quite well. I also enjoyed Giuseppe Battiston as Stromboli, and would have almost liked to have seen more of him, but for some reason he's just written out and you never hear about him ever again. And Luke Evans performs once again excellently here, now as the coachman, after of course playing Gaston in Beauty and the Beast. But Luke Evans is a fantastic singer and an actor with real range, and he just adds a little bit of star quality in his small role. The things that stood out for me in the original, I remember watching it as a child, was when Pinocchio goes to Pleasure Island and the fear that I felt as, of course, all the young boys and girls turn into donkeys. And, of course, also, who can forget the fantastic monstro, the sperm whale right at the end of the show. I mean, it really made me so scared as a child, and yet it's grossing as well at the same breath. Here, though, for me, the CGI doesn't really capture monstro, and they make him into a sea monster, which was the original idea from Collodi's original novel. But I don't know, it just kind of falls flat for me. And the ending is just kind of bland and just goes nowhere, leaving you almost as hollow and wooden as Pinocchio. As I said, it's light and easy entertainment, and it really could have been so much more if they'd just sort of given time to the characters and let the story develop and really just try and capture the magic and the originality of the 1940 classic that to this day doesn't date. Easy and light, but wooden in places, and maybe Pinocchio lacks strings, but this film does lack a bit of heart. Pinocchio gets a 7 out of 10.